Hi, welcome to the very first of our lockdown lessons. So whilst school is out, I'm going to be recording some assignments for you for your practice so that we can talk about them in our Skype lessons. So this is for intermediate standard drummers. I'm going to be clumping the assignments up in different levels. So this is for Irene, this is for Rosie, Charlie, Rehan. I'm probably missing people out, but I'll send you a link, and this lesson is for you. So this is offbeat hi-hat grooves. All right, first I'm going to show you a very simple offbeat hi-hat groove. We'll put it with the track and then we'll start mixing things up and making it slightly more complicated. So this is the very first part. This is going to be in two parts, this lesson. But let's begin listening to an offbeat hi-hat groove. So here I'm going to play the hi-hats on all the ands. So I'm not going to play on any of the beats on the hi-hat. And I'm going to play 1 and 3 on the bass drum, which we call our Billie Jean groove. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So there I am playing a click down here so you can hear where the beat is. So you'll notice the hi-hat didn't land on any of those beats. 1. So this is a completely linear groove at the moment. We're going bass, hi-hat, snare, hi-hat. We can count 1. So very simple at the moment, but let's put that with our backing track for today's lesson. Here we go. 1. All right, things will get more complicated as we go through the different grooves. So we've got 7 grooves on our sheet because these are the 7 essential grooves that I teach. And we are just taking away those hi-hats that are on the beats. We're just playing the ands on the hi-hat. So the second groove is just 4 on the floor. Shouldn't be too complicated for us. We're playing the bass drum every beat. 1. So the only thing that's changed here is that we are playing the snare drum and bass drum together with the track. 2 and 1. So that's groove number 2. Groove number 3 is the We Will Rock You groove. So this is what it would sound like if I played all the 8th notes on the hi-hat. And now we're just going to play the ands on the hi-hat. 1. So you'll see that the bass drum now lands with one of those hi-hats. 1 and 1 and. So now we've got a unison happening between the hi-hat and the bass drum. Make sure those are together. 1 and 3 and. With the click, 3 and 4. 1. So now with the track. 2 and 1. All right, now we're going to make that into a groove number 4, which will be the Boulevard of Broken Dreams groove. So with the offbeat hi-hats. 1. Track. 2. Now 1. All right, let's try our next groove. Groove number 5. This I call Every Breath You Take. We're going to play 1 and 2 and 3 out, 4 out. 1. So if we take away those hi-hats that land on the beat, we just play on the ands. 1. So you'll find that one quite a lot more difficult to play than the first groove. 1. So I'm going to slow the track down to 76%. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, let's try that full speed. 2 and 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are slightly easier because the bass drum lands on the beat. We're playing the 1 and 3 on all of those grooves. However, when we do 6 and 7, we've got a slightly more syncopated bass drum. So we're going to play the You Shook Me All Night Long groove. 1. And this one you're going to find a lot more tricky when we take away the hi-hats that land on the beat and just play the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So now on beat 3 we've got this massive hold. So we have to really either count out loud as we're playing it or really hear that track or that click so we don't speed up at that point. 1. The tendency will be to fall over yourself 1, 2, 3, because you want to play something on the beat. 3, 3. So I'll slow the track down again. This is at 76. Let's try that groove. So this is the You Shook Me All Night Long groove. 2. Let's take that all the way up to full speed. And 2, and 1. All right, that's groove 6. So our final groove is the hammer to 4 groove. Let's try him. 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, out. So I'll slow him right down again. We've got 1 and 3 and we've got this big hole in beat 3 again. 1 and 3 and. Remember, by the way, all of these PDFs are on the Drummer Diddle website. So if you're on the YouTube, click on the link, or just to the left of this, there will be a PDF to click on. So you can download the music as you play along. Remember to do that. So let's do this slow. And 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it sounds pretty funky, right? It's an interesting effect. Because we get those holes. So the next thing to try and do is perhaps combine those grooves. So I'm going to combine groove 1 and groove 3. So this would be, normally this would be we've got 1, so we'll really start working that bass drum independent. So let's play that with the track so you can hear it. 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, out. Sorry, that was groove 1 and 4, by the way. Let's do grooves 1 and 6. So this is Billie Jean to You Shook Me All Night Long, which is the beat to beat it, remember? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with only the ands on the hi-hat. So of course you can play these with the metronome as well if you don't want to try with the track or slower with the metronome. You'll really hear where the beats are landing that way too. Alright, so there we've got 1-bar grooves, and then we started to make 2-bar grooves with offbeat hi-hats. One extra thing, whilst we're on this part, we can play that obviously just on the ride, so you could directly take that onto the ride. 1. However, another cool thing to do is a switch. So I'm going to go hi-hat to ride. 1. So if I do the same now with the 7th groove, the hammer to 4 groove, 1 and you'll notice the bass drum on the right hooked up. So let's hear that with the track. 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1. And then just for fun, let's take another 2-bar groove. We'll do Billie Jean, and then we're going to do We Will Rock You. And then with just the offbeat hi-hats. 1. Track. I'm going to make him even quicker, so I'm going to make him 125. 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. So we're already getting quite complicated by that point. So this is just part 1, remember. So we're still on not that syncopated grooves, they're just a little bit syncopated. But really make sure we're comfortable with those 7 essential grooves, taking away the hi-hats on the beat. So just off beats on the hi-hats. And then we're going to go to part 2 where things get a little bit more syncopated. So I really hope you found that useful. That's your assignment that I'm going to set you this week. So we're doing that in next week's lessons. And I really hope you're having fun, and best of health to you and your families. And I'm sure we'll be back to one-to-one lessons in person in no time. So peace to you all.